boardroom freezes. White lights. Panic. Bam! A young director slams the table. "We are losing this deal," she hisses. The contract lies in the center, a linguistic bomb no one can defuse. Managers argue. Chaos. In the corner, a janitor pauses. Just a shadow in blue. He glances at the document. A manager sneers. "You understand this garbage, janitor?" Desperate, the director throws the file. It slides across the table to him. "Translate it," she snaps. "Do it right, and my salary is yours." The room erupts in cruel laughter. The janitor doesn't flinch. He adjusts his glasses. He lifts the page. And then he starts to read. Perfectly. His name is Ethan Moore. He is 46 years old. To the world inside this glass tower, he is nobody. He is part of the machinery. He is just the guy who empties the trash bins, the guy who mops the coffee spills, the guy who makes the windows shine so the executives can look down on the city. They don't see his face. They only see the uniform. But outside these walls, he is Lucy's dad. Lucy is 9. She has bright eyes and a smile that makes Ethan's backache disappear. Every night she waits for him. She sits by the window of their small, cramped apartment. She waits for the sound of his heavy boots on the stairs. Ethan took this job for her. 7 years ago, life was different. Ethan wasn't pushing a mop cart. He was sitting in chairs like the ones in this boardroom. He wore Italian suits. He drank scotch that cost more than his current rent. He was a linguistic specialist, a top-tier international negotiator. He speaks 4 languages, fluently: French, German, Mandarin, Japanese. He knows the rhythm of a deal. He knows the weight of a word. He knows that a pause in Tokyo means something different than a pause in New York. But then the accident happened. His wife passed away. The grief was a tidal wave. The corporate world demanded 18-hour days, travel, constant flights. Lucy was alone. She was grieving too. She needed a father, not a paycheck. So Ethan walked away. He buried his resume. He put on the blue uniform. He chose the night shift so he could walk Lucy to school every morning. He traded prestige for presence. He traded money for time. It was a trade he never regretted until nights like this. Tonight, the shift feels longer than usual. His back hurts. The floor on the 41st floor is endless. The smell of lemon cleaner stings his nose. He enters conference room B quietly. He is a ghost. Usually the room is empty by 9 p.m. Not tonight. Tonight the air is thick with tension. It tastes like fear. 12 people in expensive suits are sweating. The air conditioning is on full blast, but they are sweating. Ethan moves to the corner. He starts wiping down the sideboard. He keeps his head down. That is the rule. Be invisible. Be silent. Do the job. But he can hear them. They are shouting about the Meridian contract. It is a massive merger. A billion-dollar handshake with an Asian tech giant. But there is a problem. A big problem. The official translator called in sick. The agency sent a backup file. But the backup file is gibberish. The phrasing is clunky. The terms are vague. Ethan glances sideways. From the corner of his eye, he sees the document projected on the screen. He stops wiping. His eyes narrow. He reads the 3rd paragraph. His heart skips a beat. It's wrong. It isn't just bad grammar, it is dangerous. The translation agency used a literal translation for a legal idiom regarding exclusivity. They missed the nuance. They missed the kill switch clause. If the company signs this version, they are signing away their patent rights. They are handing over the keys to the kingdom. Ethan bites his lip. He feels the old instinct rising. The negotiator in him wants to scream. Don't say anything, he tells himself. You are just the janitor. You need this paycheck. You need the dental plan for Lucy. He dips his rag into the bucket. The water swirls, gray and murky, just like the mood in the room. The director, a woman named Ms. Sterling, is pacing. She is young, sharp, ambitious. But right now, she looks like she is drowning. She is watching her career evaporate. "We cannot sign this," she yells. "I don't trust this phrasing. It feels too simple." "It's standard text, Sarah," a heavyset man argues. His name is Henderson. He is loud, brash, and wrong. Just sign it. We need the funding. The investors are waiting. It feels off, she insists. My gut tells me it's wrong. Ethan grips his mop. He knows she is right. He knows exactly why she feels that way. The sentence structure is passive. It hides the subject. It hides the liability. But he is invisible. He is part of the furniture. He squeezes the water from the mop. Squeak. The sound is small. But then Henderson says something that breaks Ethan's resolve. Sarah, stop being paranoid. It's just a language barrier. They aren't trying to trick us. Ethan lets out a noise. A small sigh. A reaction to the sheer stupidity of that statement. It is barely a whisper. But in the silent, terrified room, it sounds like a scream. The sound cuts through the room. Miss Sterling spins around. Her heels click sharply on the floor. She sees him. For the first time all night, she actually sees him. Not as a uniform, but as a man. Ethan freezes. He holds the mop handle like a shield. Excuse me, Miss Sterling asks. Her voice is ice. Ethan looks down. Sorry, just cleaning. He tries to retreat. He tries to fade back into the wallpaper. But the tension in the room needs a target. And Ethan is the perfect target. Henderson, the heavy-set manager, lets out a laugh. It is a dry, ugly sound. Look at that, Henderson says, pointing a gold pen at Ethan. We are discussing the future of the company, and the cleaning guy is sighing at us. Maybe he has an opinion. Another executive chuckles nervously. Yeah, a third voice joins in. Maybe he thinks we missed a spot on the floor, or maybe the trash can is too full. The room loosens up. They are relieved to have a distraction. They are happy to punch down. It makes them feel big again. Hey, buddy, Henderson calls out. He leans back in his chair. You got something to add? You understand international trade laws? Or just the law of gravity when you drop the soap? Ethan doesn't answer. He squeezes the mop handle tighter. His knuckles turn white. He thinks of Lucy. Don't lose your temper. Don't lose the job. Lucy needs new shoes. Swallow it. Just swallow the pride. I asked you a question. Henderson pushes. He stands up. He wants a reaction. Ethan looks up. No, sir, I don't. That's what I thought, Henderson sneers. Stick to the trash, all right? Leave the thinking to the people who make the money. It should have ended there. Ethan should have walked out. He turns the cart. The wheels squeak. But Ms. Sterling is desperate. She is looking for a miracle, or maybe she is just looking to vent her frustration. She looks at the document on the screen. Then she looks at Ethan's retreating back. She sees something in the way he stands. A stiffness, a resistance. Wait, she says. The room goes quiet. She walks over to him. She stands 3 feet away. She smells like expensive perfume and stress. You sighed, she says. Why? You didn't sigh because of the trash. You sighed when Henderson spoke. Just a long night, ma'am. Don't lie to me, she snaps. You looked at the screen. You reacted. I saw your eyes. She walks back to the table. She grabs a thick stack of papers. The original contract. The one in the source language. She walks back to Ethan. She holds it out. Since everyone is useless tonight, she says, her voice loud, echoing off the glass walls. Since my highly paid team can't figure this out. She shoves the papers into his chest. Ethan has to drop his mop to catch them. The mop clatters loudly on the floor. Clang. Dirty water splashes slightly on his boots. Translate it, she commands. The room goes dead silent. Then a few giggles. Sarah, come on, Henderson says. Don't humiliate the guy, it's cruel. He probably doesn't even have a high school diploma. No, she says, her eyes locking onto Ethan's. He thinks he knows something. So prove it. She leans in close. Translate this document right now. She pauses for effect. If you can translate this correctly, my salary for this month is yours. The room explodes. Whoa! That's $20,000, Sarah. He doesn't even know English properly. Look at him. They are laughing. They are howling. It is a circus. And Ethan is the clown. Ethan stands there. He feels the weight of the paper in his hands. It feels familiar. It feels like an old friend. He runs his thumb over the edge of the paper. He remembers the syntax. He remembers the structure. He looks at Ms. Sterling. She is smirking, waiting for him to apologize, waiting for him to admit he is nothing. But inside Ethan, the dormant beast wakes up. The negotiator wakes up. Ethan takes a breath. He straightens his back. Suddenly, he doesn't look like a janitor. His posture changes, his shoulders square. The slump of the invisible man vanishes. He looks the director in the eye. The laughter in the room starts to die down, because Ethan isn't laughing, and he isn't scared. He opens the folder. He glances at the first page. Then he looks up. His voice is calm, deep, resonant. "You made an offer," Ethan says. Miss Sterling blinks. She didn't expect him to speak. "I did," she challenges. "Okay," Ethan nods. "And if I do this, I want an apology. Not for me, but for the disrespect." Henderson stands up, red-faced. "Listen here, you little—" Ethan ignores him. He flips to page 5. "Before I start," Ethan says, "I have one question for you." Henderson scoffs. "Here we go. He wants a dictionary, or he wants to know if there's overtime." Ethan turns his gaze to Henderson. His eyes are sharp, intelligent. "No," Ethan says. He turns back to Miss Sterling. "Do you want the legal interpretation, or do you want the negotiated intent?" Silence. Absolute silence. The smile drops from Ms. Sterling's face. Henderson stops chewing his gum. "What did you say?" Ms. Sterling whispers. "There is a difference," Ethan says smoothly. "The legal text follows the statute, but the negotiated intent, that follows the culture. Which one do you want to save your deal?" Mrs. Sterling takes a step back. She looks at the janitor, and for the first time she feels fear. If you believe that you should never judge a book by its cover, and that talent can hide in the most unexpected places, subscribe right now. Do not miss the moment everything flips upside down. The air in the room changes. It shifts from mockery to confusion, then to shock. Ethan does not wait for an answer. He looks down at the page. He does not need a dictionary. He does not need Google Translate. He begins to read. He reads the foreign text aloud first. His pronunciation is flawless. It is not just correct, it is native. The accent is perfect. The cadence is professional. The tone is commanding. It is the voice of a man who has closed billion-dollar deals in Tokyo, Berlin, and Shanghai. The heavy-set manager's mouth falls open. His gum falls out. Ethan switches to English. "Clause 14, Section B," Ethan recites. He doesn't stumble. He doesn't pause to think. "In the event of intellectual property dispute, the originating entity retains full sovereignty over all algorithmic iterations." He stops. He looks up at the lawyer at the end of the table. "Your previous translator," Ethan says, pointing at the screen, "translated sovereignty as partnership. That is not a mistake. That is a trap." The lawyer scrambles. He starts typing furiously on his laptop. He's right," the lawyer stammers. "Oh my God, he is right. Sovereignty implies total control. Partnership implies shared access. If you sign the draft on the screen," Ethan continues, his voice steady, "you are giving them your source code. You aren't merging, you are surrendering." Miss Sterling drops into her chair. Her face goes pale. "We almost signed it," she whispers. "We almost gave it all away." "Keep reading," she commands. Her voice is shaking. "Please, keep reading." Ethan turns the page. For the next 10 minutes, the room is frozen in time. No one moves. The only sound is Ethan's voice. He dissects the contract like a surgeon. He is not just translating words. He is interpreting intent. "Here," Ethan points to paragraph 4. "They used a dialect specific to the southern region. It implies a soft deadline, not a hard deadline. You can push back the delivery date by 3 months without penalty. You didn't know that, did you?" The project manager shakes his head. "No, we thought we had to deliver by June." "You have until September," Ethan says. "It is right here in the syntax. The particle used is conditional, not imperative." He flips another page. "And here, clause 22, the force majeure." Ethan taps the paper. They have excluded supply chain disruption from the list of excusable delays. If raw materials run out, you still have to pay. Henderson looks like he is about to have a heart attack. That would bankrupt us in a month. Exactly, Ethan says. They set you up to fail so they could buy you out cheap. Every sentence he speaks adds value. Every correction saves the company money. Millions of dollars. Saved by the man who cleans the toilets? Ethan gets into a rhythm. He walks around the table as he reads. He is no longer the janitor. He is the expert. He is the authority. The executives turn their chairs to follow him. They are like students listening to a professor. The arrogance is gone. The sneers are gone, replaced by pure, unadulterated awe. Ethan reaches the final page. He summarizes the exit strategy. He clarifies the financial liabilities. He closes the folder, snap. The sound echoes in the quiet room. Ethan places the folder gently on the table in front of Miss Sterling. That is your contract, Ethan says. The real one. He steps back. He looks at his mop lying on the floor where he dropped it. He looks at the trash bag in the corner. The magic spell begins to fade. The reality returns. He is still wearing the blue uniform with the stain on the pocket. He is still the guy who makes $15 an hour. He walks over to his mop. He bends down to pick it up. The room watches him. Usually when he bends down, they look away. They check their phones. They ignore him. Not now. Now, 12 pairs of eyes are glued to him. They are trying to reconcile what they just saw. The brilliance, the skill, the power, versus the uniform, the mop, the station. Ethan stands up. He puts the mop in the bucket. I should finish the hallway, Ethan says quietly. The wax needs to dry before morning. He turns to leave. He puts his hand on the door handle. Wait. It is Ms. Sterling. She stands up. She knocks her chair over. She doesn't care. Don't you dare walk out that door, she says. Her voice is different now. It isn't the voice of a boss talking to a subordinate. It is the voice of a person who has just witnessed a miracle. Who are you? She asks. Who are you really? Ethan pauses. He keeps his back to them for a second. He takes a deep breath. He turns around slowly. I'm Ethan, he says. I'm the janitor. No, the lawyer says. He is looking at his phone. His face is white. No, you are not. The lawyer holds up his phone. I just Googled the name on your ID badge, Ethan Moore. The lawyer looks at the room. 10 years ago, this man was the lead negotiator for the Geneva Trade Summit. Gasps fill the room. He is the one who closed the Atlantic Accord. He is a legend. A junior associate whispers, I wrote my thesis on his negotiation tactics. I thought he was dead. The heavy-set manager, the one who mocked him, looks like he wants to vomit. He sinks into his chair. He covers his face. Ms. Sterling looks at Ethan. Her eyes are wide. Ethan Moore, she whispers. I studied your cases in business school. Ethan smiles, a sad, tired smile. That was a long time ago, ma'am. Why? She asks. Why are you here? Why this? She gestures to the mop. Ethan looks at the cleaning cart. Then he looks at the clock on the wall. Because my shift ends at 10 p.m., Ethan says simply, and my daughter Lucy waits up for me. This job doesn't follow me home. The old job followed me everywhere. It took everything. The room is silent again. But this time, it is a different kind of silence. It is the silence of respect, the silence of shame. They judge a king because he was wearing rags. The shame in the room is palpable. It hangs in the air, heavier than the humidity. The heavy-set manager, Mr. Henderson, stands up slowly. His face is red. He looks smaller than before. He walks around the table. He stops in front of Ethan. This is the man who told Ethan to stick to the trash. Henderson looks at the floor. Then he looks at Ethan. He struggles to find the words. Henderson starts. His voice cracks. I am sorry, he says. I was incredibly rude and stupid. I judged you. Ethan nods. He doesn't gloat. He doesn't rub it in. He has seen men like Henderson 1,000 times. Insecure men who need to feel big. It's okay, Ethan says. Just be kinder to the next guy. You never know who they are. The guy pouring your coffee might be a poet. The woman cleaning your office might be a mathematician. Miss Sterling walks around the table. She isn't looking at him like a janitor anymore. She is looking at him like a savior. You just saved this company, she says. You saved my career. If we had signed that. She shudders. I just read what was there, Ethan says. No, she shakes her head. You understood it. You saw the trap. You saw the force majeure. You saw the IP theft. She picks up the contract. We are going to redraft this, tonight, based on your notes. She looks at her team. Get the legal department on the line. Wake them up. Tell them we have the correct translation. The room springs into action. But it is different now. The energy has shifted. Everyone is stealing glances at Ethan. Mr. Moore, Miss Sterling says, please, sit down. She pulls out a chair, not a chair in the corner, a chair at the head of the table, next to her. I have a floor to finish, Ethan says, pointing to the hallway. Leave the floor, Mrs. Sterling says firmly. I will clean the floor myself if I have to. Please, sit. Ethan hesitates. He looks at the leather chair. It has been 7 years since he sat in a chair like that. He sits. It feels strange, but it feels right. You mentioned a salary, the lawyer says, breaking the tension with a nervous chuckle. Miss Sterling said her salary is yours. Miss Sterling doesn't laugh. She looks deadly serious. I keep my word, she says. My salary this month is $45,000. Ethan's eyes widen. That is more than he makes in a year. 2 years, maybe. I was joking, Ethan says. I don't want your money. It wasn't a joke to me, she says, but I have a better idea. She leans forward. We have an opening. Senior international consultant. Ethan stiffens. I told you, I can't go back to that life. The hours, the travel. I can't leave Lucy. No travel, Ms. Sterling says quickly. Remote work. Advisory role only. Ethan listens. You work your own hours, she continues. You come in when we need big eyes on a big deal. The rest of the time, you are with Lucy, you approve the final drafts. That's it. And the pay? Ethan asks. Ms. Sterling writes a number on a piece of paper. She slides it across the table. Ethan looks at it. It is 6 figures. It is a number that changes everything. It is a future for Lucy. College fund, a house with a backyard, new shoes, piano lessons. And one more thing, Ms. Sterling adds. You never have to touch a mop again, unless you want to. Ethan looks at the number. Then he looks at his hands. Rough. Calloused from years of chemicals and labor. He looks at the executives. They are waiting for his answer. They need him. The power dynamic has completely flipped. 10 minutes ago, he was the invisible help. Now he is the most important person in the room. Ethan stands up. He walks over to the window. He looks down at the city lights. Somewhere out there, in a small apartment, Lucy is doing her homework. She is waiting for him to come home and make hot chocolate. He thinks about the leak in their roof. He thinks about the winter coat she has outgrown. He turns back to Miss Sterling. I have conditions, Ethan says. Name them, she replies instantly. I leave at 5 p.m. sharp. Every day, no exceptions. Done, she says. If Lucy is sick, I work from home. Agreed. And, Ethan points to the hallway, the other cleaning staff, the night crew, Maria, John, David. Miss Sterling listens intently. They get a raise, all of them, 20%, and better equipment. The chemicals we use, they are harsh. I want them to have the safe, eco-friendly stuff, and new uniforms, dignified ones. Miss Sterling blinks. She looks surprised. Most people would ask for a corner office or a company car. Ethan is asking for his team. They work hard, Ethan says. They are invisible to you, but they work hard. If you want me, you take care of them. Miss Sterling smiles, a genuine, warm smile. Deal, she says. She extends her hand. Ethan looks at it. He wipes his hand on his pants to make sure it's clean. Then he shakes her hand. Welcome back, Mr. Moore, she says. 2 hours later. Ethan walks through the front door of his apartment. It is late. The apartment is quiet. The radiator hums. Lucy is asleep on the couch, a book on her chest. She wakes up when he clicks the lock. "Daddy?" She rubs her eyes. "You're late." Ethan takes off his coat. He isn't wearing the blue uniform jacket. He left it in the trash bin at the office. He is wearing a crisp button-down shirt that Miss Sterling ordered for him from the emergency supply. "I know, sweetie," Ethan says. "I'm sorry. Work changed a bit tonight." He sits on the edge of the couch. "Did you clean a lot of floors tonight?" Lucy asks. Ethan smiles. He thinks about the glass room, the stunned faces, the contract, the offer, the handshake. "No," Ethan says softly. "Tonight I didn't clean floors." "What did you do?" Ethan strokes her hair. "I just spoke the truth." "Is that hard?" Lucy asks. "Sometimes," Ethan whispers. "Sometimes it is the hardest thing in the world. But tonight, it was easy." He pulls the blanket up to her chin. "Go back to sleep, Luce. Tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to buy you those sneakers you wanted." "Really?" Her eyes light up. "The ones with the lights?" "The ones with the lights," Ethan promises. "And maybe," he adds, "we can look for a new house, one with a garden, and a room for a puppy." "A puppy?" Lucy sits up, wide awake. Ethan laughs, a real laugh. "Yes, a puppy." Lucy smiles and drifts back to sleep, dreaming of flashing shoes and golden retrievers. Ethan sits there in the quiet dark. He looks at his hands. They are still the hands of a janitor, but his voice is the voice of a king again. He realized something tonight. Your job is what you do. It is not who you are. They mocked him. They laughed at him. But in the end, they needed him. He leans back and closes his eyes. The mop is gone. But the dignity was there the whole time. If you believe that intelligence does not depend on your job title, smash that subscribe button right now. And tell me in the comments, have you ever been underestimated or looked down on because of the work you do? Let's talk about it.